Today, on the Daily Meditation, why you think you can't meditate even though you obviously can. So, as a meditation teacher, I hear so many people who tell me that they think they cannot meditate. Maybe they have bad focus, maybe they have something like ADHD or another reason why they find it difficult to concentrate for extended periods of time. However, in my life, and I've been meditating for 20 years, I have never, ever met a single person who literally cannot meditate once they've been given proper guidance. And that's an important thing, once you've been given proper guidance. Anyone can meditate. I don't care how bad you think your focus is. I literally guarantee you that you can meditate. But you might think, well, okay, why is meditation so darn hard for me? Why is it that when I sit there and I close my eyes and I try to just focus my mind on my breath or on whatever you're meditating on, why is it that your mind goes haywire? You get all these different thoughts. You lose your focus all the time. Why is that happening? Now, I'm going to go deep in this episode in order to truly explain why you struggle to meditate. However, I'll cover some of the basics first. So there's a lot of articles online that give you generic basic information about reasons why you might not be able to meditate and things to do about it. You've probably read about different advice such as coughing out stimulants such as caffeine to help your mind to relax more, to slow your mind down. You might have heard of reducing screen time, again to slow your mind down, getting outside, going for walks, changing your technique. There's all these different tips and ideas on how to make meditation easier. I even have my own episode on the Daily Meditation where I discuss how to make meditation easier. But today, I want to go a lot deeper than that. I'm going to discuss metacognition today. That is, I'm going to make you aware of the processes that are going on in your mind. And when you hear what I have to say, by the end of this episode, I guarantee you are going to understand 100% why meditation is often hard for you and what you can do about it. So, meditation is basically consciousness. It's focusing your mind, right? When we meditate, we close our eyes and we focus on one thing. Usually we focus on the breath, or we might focus on a mantra, whatever it is. Focus is the main point of meditation. It's the main thing that you do when you meditate, is to focus your mind. Now, there are 3 things that you need to know about your focus and how it works. So, firstly, your focus is almost like a physical object. Go with me on this. I know your focus is not literally a physical object, but just go with me on this. So, your focus is like a physical object in the sense that it can be placed in different areas. For instance, if I tell you to focus here, you can focus there, right? Like you can move your mind, your consciousness, your attention, you can focus there. So point 1, you can position your focus wherever you want. Point 2, you have the autonomy to move your focus at will. So if I ask you to focus here, and now here, and now here, and now here, you're able to do that. Sure, no problem. But, and this is the really big point, point number 3, your mind learns habits of how you use your focus. This is going to be really, really important for you to understand in just a moment, and it's going to be the key to helping you successfully meditate. So, your mind learns habits about how you focus. So if I ask you to focus here, and now here, and now here, and now here, 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 here. Now stop. You might notice that your mind actually feels inclined to continue to change focus like that. Because your mind learns habits of how you move your consciousness. And the reason why you cannot meditate if you struggle right now is because you have trained your mind to continually change your focus. So when you finally say, okay, now focus, just like sit still and focus on my breath, your mind is going to say, well, hang on, we've been constantly doing this and focus here, now focus there, now focus here, now focus there. You've trained me. This is your mind speaking. You've trained me to constantly jump around. So, okay, now you're telling me to be still, but now I'm just going to keep bouncing around because that's what you've told me to do. So, the problem is that throughout your life, you have trained your mind to constantly focus from one thing to the next. And you probably didn't do this on purpose, by the way. You probably didn't do this on purpose. There was never a time when you said to yourself, I should constantly change what I'm focusing on. No. But unfortunately, in 2022, we live in a society where everything, well, not everything, but most things in the world are constantly competing for your attention, for your focus. You've got ads here and media there and all this stuff going on in this really busy society that we live in, that even though you didn't mean for it to happen, your mind has learned to focus here, 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 move all the time. I'm never staying still. My focus is always moving. And then suddenly you stop and meditate and your mind's like, nah, I'm going to keep doing what you've been telling me to do all this time. I'm going to constantly change the thing that I'm focusing on. So I'll give you a really common example of this, which is social media. Now I bash, I don't even know what a bosh is. I bash social media quite a lot, but there's a good reason for that because social media is pretty bad. And it also is by far the best example of what I'm trying to communicate here. So what happens when you go on social media? When you go on Facebook, Insta, whatever, what do? You go to your homepage, to your newsfeed, constant stream of stories. You focus on one thing, move, scroll. Focus on another thing, scroll, focus, scroll, focus, scroll, focus, scroll. What is happening in your mind all the time you're doing that? You're training your mind to focus for 1 sec and then move, and then focus and then move, and then focus and then move. So do you think, after all the time that you've been doing that when you finally say, okay, let's just sit and focus on one thing now, what do you think your mind is going to do? It's going to continue focus, scroll, focus, scroll, focus, scroll, because that's what you trained it to do, right? That's what you trained your mind to do. Accidentally, but it happened. So that's why you can't meditate, because meditating is focusing on one thing at a time, and you've trained your mind accidentally because of the society that we live in. You have trained your mind to continually change the thing that you're focusing on. You trained your mind to move always. So then you're trying to keep your focus still, but your mind is still continuing to move. And that's why you struggle to meditate. So what are you going to do about that? Well, essentially, what you need to do is imprint a new habit in your mind, where you'll not focus, scroll, focus, scroll, focus, scroll, focus, scroll, where you'll just focus and stay and be slow and just focus on this one thing that we're focusing on right now. Meditating. We're meditating, focusing on the breath. We're just focusing on that one thing right now. You need to train your mind to learn to do that as a habit. And there's 2 ways to do that. So the first is by continuing to meditate. So if you have had like a really active mind where your focus is continually bouncing around all over the place, then when you try and meditate, your mind is going to continue to bounce around all the time, which is fine if you accept that it's going to happen. So you can continue to meditate and just say to yourself, I know my mind is bouncing around all over the place. I understand that that's happening because it's what I've been doing for a long time. Now I'm meditating, so I'm going to be patient with my mind. I'm going to continue to try and just focus on my breath. And I'm going to be self-compassionate and understand when my focus is moving around. And gradually, as you do that, your focus will begin to still. So that's the first way to overcome that. The second way is really just to engage in any kind of activity or go out into any kind of environment or do whatever you can where you're in a situation that your mind is learning and being encouraged to be still. So, for instance, spending time out in nature in a beautiful park. It's a very still environment. Encourages your mind to slow down. Getting off of social media. Actually, tech in general is a big part of the problem because technology, by its very nature, doesn't have to adhere to the principles of nature. Like you're looking at a screen right now, and this screen can suddenly jump to something completely different. That doesn't happen in nature. It just happens in technology, which is why a digital detox is also a really good idea. But generally doing anything that's going to slow your mind, like a general exercise, walking or reading, anything like that, that is going to encourage your mind to just slow down a bit. That's going to help you to snap out of this habit where you're focus, move, focus, move, focus, move. It's going to help you to snap out of that. So then your mind will learn a new habit where it's not focus, move, it's focus and okay, let's just stay here for a bit. Now maybe we can slowly focus on something else. You're going to have to train your mind to do that as a habit. And when you do that, your mind's going to slow down. And then you will find it a lot easier to meditate. My name is Paul Harrison. Thank you for joining me on this episode. If you would like to join me for a private meditation session, oh, that was quite a mouthful. If you would like to join me for a private meditation session, you may do so on thedailymeditation.com. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay sensational.